So Brian, again, we have a lot of young doctors and students who'll be viewing this. I mean, you've had a great career. What drew you to the industry initially?
Well, I was recruited into the industry,
Okay.
and I'd been doing a lot of research, and I was curious. And for example, I pick up a bottle of drops that I'm going to give to the patient, and I give them the drops, and sometimes they come back and say, "Gee, this one stings." And I always wondered, well, what do they put in these drops anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You can read the ingredients, but you don't know. What I found when I went into industry was we don't think about what goes into that drop, but the amount of work and research across the board that goes into developing a simple eye drop that we use every day is quite phenomenal. If we look at the engineering, the chemistry, the clinical work, the regulatory work that has to go in order to get that approved, that became really fascinating to me. And I was very successful at it. I put a team together, interestingly, composed mostly of optometrists that we had hired into the industry, and not as optometrists usually think they're going to be, which is in the contact lens side of the business, but we brought them into the pharmaceutical side. And we were extremely successful. In a matter of probably 10 years, we had 3 NDAs. What that means is we developed 3 new drugs and got them commercialized onto the market. If you think about it, most people getting into industry, if they get 1 NDA in their lifetime, that is a major achievement. We had a relatively small team and got 3 NDAs, and those products are all in the market and approved. And they weren't in the same area either. One was an intraocular lens delivery of steroid. It's the first one ever done for posterior uveitis, a very severe sight-threatening problem. The second one was a combination product, which I'm sure a lot of optometrists are using today, called Xylet, when we combined Lotemax, which was our proprietary steroid, with an antibiotic. And then the third one was another product that's on the market now called Bezivance, which was a new fluoroquinolone for the treatment of conjunctivitis. So that was a great experience, because I don't think there's anything more gratifying, even today, when I see people using the drops that I put on the market. And my whole team, I'm sure, feels the same way.
Sure.
And it's the same thing for devices. The first device I ever worked on at B&L was PureVision. And it was first or the second silicone hydrogel lens to get onto the market. And even to this day, when I see PureVision, I'm still pretty proud that we got PureVision onto the market. And then along with a bunch of other stuff, toric lenses, cataract surgical equipment, refractive surgical equipment, diagnostic equipment like OrbScan and a few others. So there's aberrometers. So I just feel very proud of the team we put together. And there's another aspect of not only seeing your products on the market, but one of the things I realized is that I could impact thousands of people with a single product, whereas in practice, I could only impact one person at a time. And so, being able to provide relief, particularly in the case of a product like what we call Retisert, which was for uveitis, where these patients are either on systemic steroids or they're really having serious pain and going blind, we got letters back all the time from hundreds of patients who had the thing implanted in their eyes saying this changed their lives completely. So very gratifying to actually do that.
It impacts so many people. That's what's interesting is you've then taken this passion and more recently you've been working with a number of startups.
That's correct.
In the ophthalmology space.
Correct.
And so, is there an opportunity, or at what point in a optometrist's career can they realistically see working for a startup, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, become an opportunity for you?
I think to get into a startup, you probably would need some experience, but I think I'd like to see optometry becoming more aware and promotional of industry as a career path. I haven't seen that.
Okay.
At the same time, even when I see recruiters looking for people to get into the ophthalmic industry in particular, optometry doesn't really come to mind all the time. And I would like to see that change because, we were very successful with a primarily optometric group in our surgical business, our pharmaceutical business, and our contact lens business. And I think there's a tremendous resource in optometry. I'd like to see young optometrists thinking more about that as a career, going forward. And I think, there's always trade-offs. There's pluses and minuses to everything you do.
Right.
When I left practice, and people said, well, do you like being in industry better? I said, well, you give up some problems for others.
Right.
It's never smooth sailing. If it was smooth sailing, anybody could do it.
Sure.
And but I think I'd like to see more optometrists getting, or at least thinking about, industry as a career.
Well, I would think with the trends we spoke about earlier, the aging of the global population and all the associated eye diseases, that there would be more opportunity for optometrists in industry over the next decade. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree. But there has to be an awareness. There has to be an awareness on the side of optometry, and there has to be an awareness on the part of industry. And one of the things that I am going to do is try and impact that. I do want to try and educate industry that the OD is a tremendous resource in terms of product development, both from the clinical side, but also from other sides of the product development pathway. And at the same time, I think recruiters need to understand that optometrists exist.
Yeah.
I don't think they even know that optometrists exist for the most part. Because when I look at ads from recruiters, I'll generally see one at MD, PhD, but OD seems to be left out of the picture. So that's something that I am going to talk to the ophthalmic recruiters anyway and bring it up as an issue.
Sure.
And I'd like to see the schools, I'd like to see the formal associations in optometry actually talking about this, and I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, thanks, Brian. That's
You're
a
welcome.
great insight, and hopefully we'll see more optometrists going down the same path that you have.
I hope so.